Yeah, in this video we're going to look at my first draft for the fantasy team 2025-2026. It's only a first draft, of course. There will be many more changes, but I think I just give it a go. If we look at my goalkeepers, what I did in the past, I'm going to do it again. That I'm picking two goalkeepers from the same team. So Cels and Miguel. Cels and Miguel play for Nottingham Forest. And the advantage is, if Cels doesn't play, for some reason injured, he will be substituted by the second goalkeeper. At this moment, I think it will be Miguel. I'm not 100% sure yet if he will be the second goalkeeper, but I can easily change that later on. So that's an advantage. If Cel doesn't play, I always have a substitution. Miguel then he will play for Nottingham Forest. And I don't have to waste too much money. The second goalkeeper is only 4.40. So I don't want to spend too much money on my second goalkeeper. Cels from Nottingham Forest had a very good season last year, and I don't think it will change this year. They still have the same defense. The defense is still Aina, Murillo, Milenkovic and Williams. And I think Nottingham Forest is in defense still very strong. So I don't think that will change. Cels will still have a good season for Nottingham Forest. Now if we look at the midfielders, the defenders, I think I thought about it and I think I'm going for the big guns. I'm going for the big guns, the big defenders, the very expensive most expensive defenders, I think, but very good defenders from the top three teams if it comes to defending. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea had the best defense last season. I'm going to pick Gabriel from Arsenal. He's a safe pick, 6.0. Cucurella from Chelsea. He got better and better last season, and he will have output, goals and assists. And Chelsea got better in the second half of the season in defense. I think they've sorted it out now. And obviously Virgil van Dijk from Liverpool. He is a key starter for Liverpool, a key player, and surely he will start. It's safe, three very safe picks, and I think it's probably a good idea to do it. And then I have two other defenders who will be on the bench. At this moment I've chosen Esteve from Burnley. He had a very good season last year for Burnley. He's a very steady centre-back, but I'm not sure if he will start. Burnley had many signings, so that might change. Everything can change, of course, but then the second bench defender, because I will play with three defenders, is Goodmanson from Leeds United. He's a new signing. He will be a left-back defender. And also that easily can change. Now I think the big advantage of three big guns is they will start and it's easy to replace. If something happens to Cucurella, he has a price of 6.0, and we all know it's very easy to make a transfer. If you want to transfer him to a player who is cheaper. So downwards is always easy. So the replacing Cucurella with a defender with a player who's cheaper or the same price is easy. So I can replace him, for example, with Colwill or Gusto. That's easy because they are cheaper or have the same price. The same goes for Van Dijk. If he gets injured, or I can easily replace him with Konate, Kerkez, Frimpong. But keep in mind that Frimpong, Kerkez and Van Dijk all are 6.0. And I think that's a bit strange. Because Van Dijk has proven himself over the last years. And Frimpong has to prove himself in a new league. It's strange that Frimpong has the same price as Van Dijk, but I expect for him a lot of output. I can easily replace Gabriel if something happens to Saliba, who is also 6.0. So if something happens, I can easily make a transfer, no problem at all. The same goes obviously for the bench defenders. There are so many 4.0 defenders who will start, so that's not a problem at all. So the defense, I took it very easy, I think. Just the three big guns. Now in midfield, I obviously choose Mohamed Salah as a midfielder. Obviously he will be my captain. And I think I was a bit surprised that Salah was 14.5 and Haaland is 14.0. Now, if Haaland is 14.0 and Salah is 14.5, it's a no-brainer who to choose. The difference is price is too low. It's only 0.5. I think it should have been a little bit more than that, because Salah is a midfielder. He gets an extra point for a goal. He gets an extra point for a clean sheet. He plays every minute. Haaland will be substituted, will be rotated a lot more. Gets 1 point less for a goal. It's a bit of a no-brainer. So 40.5, 40.0 for Haaland. I think for surely I will choose Salah. Now the second midfielder in price is Palmer. I was thinking about and Palmer and Saka in my team, but the big advantage of choosing Palmer over Saka, one of the two, is if something happens to Palmer, I can easily replace him. I can get Palmer out and Saka in. Saka is 10.0. If you choose Saka over Palmer and something happens to Saka, 10.0, and you want to replace him with Palmer, but Palmer is 10.5, more expensive than Saka. It will be more difficult to replace Palmer. Replacing Palmer with Saka isn't easy. And the problem is, if you choose Palmer and Saka, and something happens to Palmer or Saka, who are you going to replace him with? Because there are not many midfielders in that price bracket, in the price range, that's 10.90, who almost none, only Palmer and Saka. So I can always replace Palmer easily now with Saka. Because I always keep in mind, when I make my first team, that is the other players easy to replace. Now the defenders is not a problem. Palmer is not a problem. Salah is always going to be a problem. Okay, replacing Salah is always going to be a problem. If something happens to Salah, who you are going to replace him with? Maybe with Saka, or maybe with Haaland. But that's always going to be a problem. I hope nothing happens to Salah. Now the same goes for Florian Wirtz. He is a different price tag, 8.5. Florian Wirtz is a new signing from Liverpool, but I think he will do very, very well. He will have a lot of goals, a lot of assists. I think his price is much too low, 8.5. For surely he will start. As long as he starts, he will do well. He will have to get used to the Premier League, but that's okay. I think he will do very well. Semenyo from Bournemouth. I think he's a regular starter. He's a key starter from Bournemouth. He did very well last season, 11 goals, I think 7 assists. I think he's a good pick, 7.0. And then I have Anderson from Nottingham Forest. They have a new, they added something new this season, the defensive action. And I think Anderson had 36 points on defensive actions. So he will get a lot of points from defensive actions. He's a regular starter, key starter for Anderson. I think he started more than 30 matches last season. 5.5. And it's very difficult to choose a midfielder who is a winger or an attacking midfielder in that price bracket who will start. There are hardly any midfielders who will start for that price, who is an attacking midfielder. But Anderson is a good choice. Now the big advantage of those midfielders is, like I said before, every midfielder is easy to replace. Palmer by Saka, Wirtz, I can easily replace Wirtz by Foden, Eze or Marmoush, who are more or less in the same price range. 7.5, 8.0, but they're all cheaper, so it's easy to replace. I can easily replace Semenyo by Kluivert from Bournemouth, or I think Rodgers, Aston Villa, for example. Sar, Crystal Palace, they're all in the same price range. So even if something happens to Semenyo, it's easy to transfer him out. Anderson, the same story. I can easily replace him with Caicedo, 5.5, or Gomez from Wolverhampton. So I can easily replace Anderson with another midfielder who will be cheaper or have the same price. So keep in mind, when you build a team, you always have to think, is it easy to replace a player? Okay, if I would have chosen, for example, let's say a defender like Colwill from Chelsea. If I would have chosen Colwill from Chelsea, 5.0, and my budget is 100, I don't have any money on the bank, how on earth are you going to replace Colwill? It's more difficult. If you want to replace Colwill with a defender from Chelsea, you can't get a Cucurella or a Reece James. I think they are more expensive. So keep in mind that if you pick a player, the same goes for Konate from Liverpool. Konate is 5.5. But if something happens to Konate from Liverpool, and you want to replace him with a defender from Liverpool, you can't do that because Frimpong, Kerkez and Van Dijk are more expensive. They are 6.0. So you have to look at another team. So keep that in mind when you build the team. All those players are easy to replace so far. The keeper, the goalkeeper sells, I can replace him with Henderson from Crystal Palace or any other goalkeeper. The only thing is Salah will be very difficult to replace, but we all know that. Now in forwards it's a bit more complicated. There I bit have a problem here. I pick Pedro, the player I want to have in my team, the first choice as a forward is Joao Pedro. Pedro from Chelsea. He made a transfer to Chelsea. I saw him at the World Cup. He played absolutely brilliant. He made a few goals and he made 3 goals and he was very, very good. 2 or 3 goals. And his link-up play with Palmer was brilliant. I think he made 3 goals, yes. But his link-up play with Palmer was brilliant. And Palmer will benefit from Pedro. Pedro will benefit from Palmer. And Pedro is a massive upgrade compared to Jackson, who is very limited, Pedro is much better in link-up play and holding the ball and goal scoring. So 7.5 is a bit of a bargain. And the other forward, I didn't have any money left. There was Evan Nielsen, but Evan Nielsen is a good pick. He will start every minute. And I think he got better in the second half of the season. Now you see the problem with the forwards now. Scarlett is 4.5 forward, he will be on the bench. I don't think he will even start. But he's just on the bench. And I don't think he will even start for the Spurs, but there is no 4.5 forward who will start for the team. The problem with the forwards now is, if you want to have Isaac in my team, or Watkins, or a more expensive forward, I cannot do that. If Isaac is on a good run, or Watkins, because they are 9.0, 9.5 or 10.5. I cannot say I get Evan Nielsen out and I get Isaac in. I can't do that. Because it's 3.5 million. I have to change practically my whole team. So that is a bit of a problem, a little bit of an issue that with the forwards, I think that it could be an issue. But if that is the only issue now, I'm quite happy with the team now. There will be more changes, of course. So the big disadvantage is I cannot get Isaac or Watkins in my team now. If I want to make a substitution in 2 or 3 weeks, that's something I can't do because I run out of budget. But the good thing is I can easily make transfers, except from the forwards. And that's a very, very good thing. I can easily replace Pedro, of course, with Mateta, who's 7.5. And I think Wissa from Brentford is something like 7.5. The same goes for Evan Nielsen. You can replace him with Strand Larsen or Jimenez, so that he can be replaced by another forward who is cheaper. But I can't get Watkins or Isaac or a more expensive forward in. We don't know the prices from Goalkeepers and Ekitike net. Goalkeepers is a heavy go to Arsenal, but I don't know the price yet. Ekitike will go to Liverpool, but we don't know the price yet. So, but this is the first draft. This is the first version of my fantasy team. So that was the end of the video. In the next video we're going to look at maybe a second version of my fantasy team.